Alright guys, so welcome back to another video, and this evening we actually just watched the Game Awards, and we had a good time, and we were like, whoa, we don't play a lot of these games, but cool. But it was a fun experience, especially with Smash coming out right now as you're watching this video.
In 1 minute.
In 1 minute, yeah, in our time, but when it's posted, you guys will be rock smacking out.
Probably months at that point.
But I gotta say, like, out of all the Game Awards, like, right now we're kind of in this whole Smash hype zone, and the most exciting thing for me was them announcing the Joker from Persona.
It's just
the
Joker.
first DLC.
It's not the Joker. It's not Batman.
Okay, well, let me at least try to get something in. Gee, alright.
No,
yeah,
I was
shoot down the leader.
That was the most exciting thing for me.
I thought that was really funny.
I don't know what that says about the Game Awards, but
well, I just thought it was funny because you all were saying it was a dancing game. I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then it was but then when they showed like the Smash emblem on the card and everything, I was like, that's awesome.
They did kind of strike that tone at the beginning of the trailer for it, because it was just like, oh, here's like the throwaway Persona thing.
Right. They do a Persona tie-in dancing game for every like numbered series release in that franchise. So I thought it was Persona 5 Up All Night, but no, it's Persona 5 in Smash, which is awesome.
So I'm sure that Nick will
Persona
finally
give
Samus some time on the bench and engage with Joker singular.
Anyway, that also being said, I was pretty I love Nintendo, and I was pretty disappointed that they didn't have like another announcement. I was expecting like Metroid Trilogy or something about Bayonetta.
Yeah, so was I. I mean, out like the fact that like we're kind of saying that this is what we're most excited about is kind of strikes a sense of disappointment from the Game Awards in terms of its announcements. But the main reason I guess I put a little more hope and optimism into it is because they canceled PSX. Who knows what the fuck's going on with E3 next year? So, like, when else are they going to announce some stuff? So I was like, maybe we'll get some juice tonight. And on the flip side, stuff that we've been talking about a lot on the channel, I feel like they barely even talk about. Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil.
I really thought we'd see some Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that, and especially for Square and Capcom to kind of, like, be like, hey, a lot of people are going to be watching this. But one thing I did gather is maybe this isn't the community of gaming we subscribe to as much, because a lot of it was free-to-play stuff, Fortnite, PUBG, all of those big free-to-play sandbox games were definitely taking, I think, what was the free-to-play game that we saw a repeat commercial for?
Oh,
that they really were pushing.
They showed a lot of trailers for Dead by Daylight, which is like it's not really. I think it's not really a battle royale game like PUBG or like Fortnite. It's I guess sort of like a 1v team survival horror game with a ton of DLC from the looks of it.
yeah. And then Fortnite's on season 7. I was like, was season 1 just like 6 months ago? Like it's just
every month is a season.
Yeah, it's just wild. So, but like with that said. Were there any other highlights that, I guess Obsidian's game.
Yeah,
kind of. That struck a chord with Nick and I.
The Outer Worlds, is that what it was?
Outer Worlds, and it looks like a true, their modern take on what kind of Bethesda, I don't want to say stole from them, but borrowed from them.
Well,
it's like a New Vegas revival.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you mentioned Bethesda, and Bethesda had not a demo, they had a trailer later on in the show for Rage 2, which I think they developed as well as published this time. I know id, or maybe id did this one as well.
I think that they acquired id, and now Bethesda's got their hands in id. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So they look really identical in terms of the aesthetic, that sort of Fallout, Mad Max kind of quality, a little bit of a Borderlands kind of vibe going on. But what I didn't get out of Rage 2 that I thought was great in the Outer Worlds was that you could tell that there was a sense of humor in it.
Oh, for
you
sure.
get that old school kind of Fallout 1 and 2, or even New Vegas, black sense of humor. It even gave me a little bit of a sort of a Bioshock campy, deco vibe too, which it has me a little bit interested. I'm gonna follow that one for sure.
It did, and like one thing, like while you mentioned that game and how interested I was, like I feel like that a lot of games now are just aiming for that like that dystopian kind of a little post-apocalypse vibe, like where it's like kind of this vintage technology that everyone's putting together.
You also had the Far Cry 5 or what the Far Cry game, New Dawn, like it's a post-apocalyptic because it's supposed to follow the last game where like there's nukes going off or something like that. So yeah, it just seems like that kind of
and also I want to say that
they've never done a direct sequel, I think.
Yeah, this one is supposed to. They say it's supposed to follow.
I like pastel colors, but like everything is that like bright purple, pink, pastel flavor right now, and it just seems like the industry just like is so like saturated to me. It's just this kind of how everyone's trying to make the same thing. And maybe it's what they're pushing for this demographic who's watching the Video Game Awards. I know it has a heavy Western influence, but I mean, anyways, we'll get to where we think the industry's heading in a second. But let's talk about what won. And I guess the biggest surprise right off the bat is God of War winning Game of the Year. When I think that all of us were like, Red Dead.
We thought it was going to be Sweep.
Red Dead. Yeah. But they also won Best Director too. So kudos to God of War for winning. Yeah. I know that it was definitely one of the more renowned games of the year.
Red Dead won a lot of awards. God of War won a lot of awards.
Those seem to be the leaders.
I was really happy that Celeste won Indie Game of the Year because I really like that game.
That's my doorbell.
Try it again.
Sorry. No. Just keep going.
No, I really liked. I liked Celeste, and I was glad that they got acknowledged. And I was pretty surprised even when I heard them announcing like games of the year, and that was in it because I haven't played many games similar to that recently, and when I played it, I really liked it, and I just was happy that they included it, and I was happy they won something. Because I thought it was a well done game, but I don't think either of you have played it yet.
I haven't, man. It's on the long.
And
it's really good.
And I liked its art direction. I liked what it looked like. I liked the music from it. What won the music again? Red Dead, right?
Red Dead.
And like it was. I mean, like, all right, let's get a little bit to who's probably watching us. I thought Octopath should have won the music. I mean, I know that Square kind of had a blah year, but. I feel like granted, I've only played a few hours of Red Dead, can't fully judge it, but just the effort and attention put into music, I think definitely was more prominent in Octopath. So just want to get that out of the way.
It was just, at one point it seemed like Red Dead was going to take everything. And it seemed like it could have been like, it came out right when people were voting, and I really had no hope for God of War winning almost anything, and I was shocked that they won the director and then the game of the year. I thought that was, good for them. Probably in the long run, I'd say Red Dead is a better game, but I wasn't too impressed with a lot of the games that they had for game of the year. And I think those two were the ones that I was like, it's either going to be that like Red Dead or God of War.
Feels like it's been a much more sparse year for gaming than last year was.
We'll do our own Game Awards very soon here. I think we'll have that out around the new year. But
we'll have a lot of the same guests.
We'll have but I
significantly less music.
But I would agree. 2017 was such a crazy game year, and next year is shaping up to be another absurd game year. So I just feel like I feel like we're, in the layer of the sandwich, we might have hit a little romaine crunch. But topical, Don't get salmonella, folks. So, it's just like, I feel like the games that we enjoy kind of took a rest this year. So, as far as the AAA, flagship titles we talk about on here. So, but anyway, I want to kind of sort of pivot to where we think the industry is headed. And I feel like this show was kind of a bit of a premonition or prologue to kind of where the industry is heading, which is like subscriptions, free to pay, like play as you go along, kind of
freemium games.
Freemium games. there was news recently that Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire made almost $500 million off of its app, A New Empire. So,
the mobile game.
The mobile game. Yeah. So just like they're like, all right, here's where all the fucking money is.
Does that mean it made more than the actual Final Fantasy 15 like main release?
I would assume it to be pretty close. Yeah.
Is that including the Royal Edition?
I would like Final Fantasy 15. The game has sold like over 8 million copies. They said they needed to sell like 4 to 5 to make back their budget. So they've had a profit of 4 to 5 million.
So, what was the name of the mobile game? What was the subtitle?
A New Empire.
New Empire. So that mobile game has made like so much more money than the mainline 15.
It's got to be like,
or is it at least way more profitable because?
Oh, probably because the development costs. All they did was hire this Chinese company.
It was only in development for 7 years.
7 years. I'm sure, honestly, that game was in development for like 15 minutes because like they just outsourced it to this Chinese company. It's made swaths of money. But like I hope that companies don't like get addicted to this because I know the purpose of your company is to make money. That is like the foundation of capitalism. I get it. But I hope that they take all this income and instead of making another million freemium games, they put this money into stuff that people want really badly. Like AAA flagship stuff that challenges the norm in games, pushes it visually and emotionally in a sense. So I hope that Fortnite and I know that they're popular and they've done really well, but it kind of makes me fear that some companies are going to go to a subscription service. Like, I don't know how much longer we're going to have consoles for. I feel like ultimately we might be able to stream everything from our phones and we just pay a subscription to a company directly. Like Nintendo, $100 a year, you get a subscription to their library of games and you just cast it from your phone.
Well, I think they're already kind of testing it. Well, Sony's kind of got a little bit of a baseline concept for that right now in terms of PS Now, I think it is, where you pay like a monthly fee and then you stream. I think you can stream PS3 games over the service, but it basically gives you unlimited access to a large library of games that you stream. And the latency really isn't that bad because you're basically communicating your button inputs back to the server and it relays the action on screen.
And then I also think of
it's feasible.
EA's Origin system. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, well, Epic actually is rolling out their own sort of thing now.
And Square has been mulling with a subscription service too.
Don't do it, Square.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
But here's the thing: it's like you pay a yearly subscription, like $60 to $100, and you get access to a big library of games. Is that how it works, or will you get a subscription and you get that new like $60 game, and you're like, hey, so really it's $40 more, and I get access to this library of games.
Because they also had the Resident Evil game on Nintendo Switch that you would stream, and that was just localized in Japan, but you didn't pay the premium for the game. I know that you paid less, but they could start rolling that out. Because I also think another game, I think maybe an Assassin's Creed might have come in the same way, but I could be
Japan
wrong
only
about that.
too?
Yeah, it's like they're only doing it in Japan, but that could be foreshadowing what's coming in the future because you can't play those games in America because all of the servers are in Japan and you get bad latency and things like that.
Right.
But I think that would be an interesting. I don't know. It would be interesting, but that could be the way things are going in the future. If this rolls out and it works well, why wouldn't?
Well, if you think about it, just with the practicality of it, as internet speeds improve, what's more profitable for a company, to piecemeal it out online,
not having hard copy games.
Hard copy, that chops off a lot of their budget, and that way they get around licensing issues and having to affiliate with a platform.
Physical
distribution, and they have their own platform that you access versus having to pay Sony to put it up or Microsoft put it up. So
I definitely think that on a long enough timeline, that's probably where it goes.
Games go because a lot of people are calling the next generation of consoles the last generation. I don't know how much I believe that, but I do think things are going more in the streaming. All your content is in the cloud direction. which is kind of like attacks my nostalgia as a gamer, because I remember being a kid and going and getting the physical game and having the whole game on the game.
Yeah.
And, you know... And,
well, those days have been gone for a while.
Those days have been gone for a while. But,
Day one DLC.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, you know, the thing is that what worries me the most about this is who does it really affect the most? And I would say Nintendo, because they rely heavily on selling their consoles. And I worry about Nintendo having to just be a software-only company, which is likely in the future.
Could be, yeah.
You know,
but they might be in a sweet spot, actually, because they're really jamming this portability aspect and benefit to their system. So unless they want to get into the whole, you know, cellular data coverage for your Switch as you move throughout the world, you know, wherever on your commute, you know, that's one benefit that like PlayStation or Xbox will probably never pursue.
Well, I think the phone will become just as good as having a Switch eventually.
Potentially.
Yeah. So, but like, you know, a lot of people theorize about the 7 remake. Will it be a subscription-based service? I hope not. I hope they release them all individually, you know, in their own copies. And I would not like them to be like, oh, you subscribe to Final Fantasy VII. You get, you know, we're going to release like 4 chapters over a year.
It's
$100.
It's less a subscription and more of an installment.
Yeah, installment, yeah. But I think that like Square, after the blowback of, you know, recent history, they want to make sure that they don't step on any toes with this, hopefully. Yeah. But any other theories for the future of like games, like where things are heading?
I mean,
or are we just kind of possessed in this moment of this niche of gaming?
Well, I think there's a little bit of you know, old man on his porch screaming at freemium games to get off his lawn going on here in this conversation, which I'm definitely guilty of too. But I think honestly, like at the end of the day, there's enough room in the game ecosystem for like both types of games and all types of audiences. Like, you know, God of War coming out this year, being incredibly fiscally and critically successful, I think proves that there's still a high demand for, you know, AAA, high quality single player campaign games. I think Red Dead is that
similar.
Too.
What I do appreciate about God of War, and I'll get into this in the Game of the Year review, well, I wasn't as fond of it as most people. I do appreciate that it had that linear narrative focus game that I enjoy the most. Maybe it wasn't the one I liked the most, but I'm glad that you know, recipe is still going strong. Harrison?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that... Well, I can't imagine a world without consoles, but it could happen. It's just like the idea of not being able to play like a game like God of War on my TV or something like that. They have to have something like that, even if it is like a streaming box or something like that.
Like a receiver.
Yeah, why isn't it your phone? It's like you just subscribe, launch the app, and cast it to your TV.
That may be the future. I mean,
and Bluetooth your controller to your phone.
But I agree with Nick. I think that like stuff with the Switch being something that's like a portable, yet you can put it on your TV if you want. You have that option. I think that's and they've done handheld so well for so long that I would be surprised. But I mean, I think that it is a good hybrid at the moment. The Switch just like you can take a game with you, and it like obviously at the moment it doesn't have the greatest graphical qualities as other systems, but they could increase that in the future with like better hardware and shit. But I
think it's important for, this is more short term, but for Nintendo after Smash is out to have a new campaign for what they're bringing, because I feel like after Smash is out, it's like, hello?
Yeah, they usually have something in the beginning of the new year, so like in January they will most likely have another Direct, because that's like they've done that the last few years. So we'll see what they have to say. I was like I said earlier, I was a little disappointed that they didn't say anything about Metroid. They didn't say anything about Bayonetta. They didn't say anything about Yoshi's World, even though I don't really care about that game.
Reggie, I just like Reggie teasing it with his Ridley shirt.
I feel Ridley shirt.
You knew what you were doing, Reggie. You knew what you were doing.
Love you, Reggie. Send us free games.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think that they have a lot. I mean, I know that the new Pokemon game is coming out next fall or whatever, and that's gonna be very, very popular because even Let's Go was like it did really well. I mean, it's a Pokemon game, so it's gonna do well. But I think that's gonna be something that kind of launches them. But like, what else is there? I mean, and we need like definitive dates on games at this point.
Yeah,
so.
but you know, the future has a lot to bring. I'm confident on the Sony side. I'm not confident on the Nintendo side. But we'll see.
Yep.
All right.
Optimism.
Right, optimism. We're
like,
very
comment, and
optimistic.
subscribe.
Yeah. Well, Harrison's got this down. Thanks, guys. Bye.